The success is in the planning, and having a plan is just so evident that it's necessary. What is needed to get a good plan together?
Well, it's a very good question, and it's about identifying what's important to you. For each of us, it's different. It might be travel, it might be paying off your mortgage, and it might be retiring comfortably. A couple come to mind. Their number one goal was to live in Richmond. We put a plan together to achieve that, and at the time they actually thought that it was probably unrealistic.
Probably thought it was a fantasy or something.
Far-fetched. And over the years they actually saw themselves getting closer and closer towards this goal, and at a point it was, hang on, we actually need to go and find the house. And they found it, and they love it. They've now been in it for a year, and they walk to the games, happily Collingwood supporters. But they
Don't hold that against them, right?
But the point is, they didn't know what was achievable, but through good planning, their eyes were opened, and they had options. They were able to reach their goals.
And really the tips we want to share today is that the advisors in the industry today just have to know so much legislation, how it impacts you, and when to make good choices. You might know to make a good choice, but when do you make it? And making those decisions along the way is really imperative.
And of course, it's always putting the client first.
Absolutely. It's always serving the client's best interests is paramount. As I say, if you're not going to see a financial advisor, make sure you do some planning yourself.
Now, you've always spoken about the emotion and the emotional connection. Often when a client walks in for the first time, they may have certain emotions, and then after being a client for a few years, they're a different person. Tell me more about that.
Well, it's terrific, to see that the journey of being able to let go of their inhibitions or anxieties about their money, and just know that while it may not be their forte, it's become a strength where they have total confidence that what the outcome's going to be in their current situation.
So they're sleeping better at night, they're confident when they're booking travel, they're helping their kids.
Exactly right, and they can make decisions and know that they're going to be okay, knowing that they're going to have enough.
I was reading recently in some research that advisors can add up to about 3% a year to people's net wealth.
I read that same article. It's very interesting. Vanguard did a lot of research, and they've come back and said, hey, in any sphere, this is what can happen. And 3%, we know that, you and I know that 1% can make a big difference, but 3% is massive.
And sometimes that can be making the right decision at the right time, as you said earlier, but it can also be not making the wrong decision.
Well, that's it, Dave. Often we need to look at everything we do and plan it out, because it's when you don't plan, you often go down a track that you have to back out of later, and you wonder why you went down there in the first place. Hey, I've loved doing this series of videos with you, Dave, and of course our audience. Well, this is the last episode of our series of videos, but I'd like you to keep an eye out, because we have an offer available for you next week.